Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another Transformers action figure video, and today
I went to the danger zone.
we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Top Gun Maverick crossover figure. And here's now taking a look at the packaging. Right up front here we have a nice open window that showcases the figure inside. Always love seeing these really unique packaging for these figures. It says Top Gun right here, Hasbro. It's got the images of the figure right there. It says his name is Maverick. And it's got some nice dates right on there. Nice little references to the movie, Transformers, 114. And then here on the side, got the Tomcat logo and all kinds of little references. And then here on the back, some product shots and all this kind of stuff. Now, I did want to mention this. Authentic Transformers! Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. Something I wanted to mention about this figure. If you notice, this it says 2022 right there on the little crossover logo. Technically, this figure released like 2 years ago, but that figure was a Hasbro Pulse / San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and it was intended to release when the new Top Gun Maverick movie was originally supposed to release, but because the movie was delayed, it ended up not coming out in 2020, and it came out in 2022. And also, to commemorate and go with the release of the movie, Hasbro decided to re-release this figure. The only difference is this guy doesn't come with a volleyball. What a tragedy. No volleyball. Oh my gosh, no volleyball. Now going into the accessories, first off he comes with this teeny little model of a motorcycle painted up in black and red. This is obviously supposed to be Maverick's motorcycle from the movie, but I honestly don't know why they included it here. Like, I understand it is supposed to be a completely in-scale motorcycle to the actual Tomcat jet, but I still find this accessory very unnecessary because it just sits there. It doesn't do anything with the actual figure itself. As for the other accessories this guy comes with, he comes with some missiles, and even more missiles. And they all have 5mm pegs that go into the little ports under here, and that makes us some nice weapon storage. And you think you got enough missiles there, pal? And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Da 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 da. And now taking a look at the Tomcat alternate mode here, it looks pretty good. I'd say it looks pretty close to the actual jet. Taking a look at some of the up-close details, I appreciate the transparent cockpit, and you can actually see some of the seats in there. And he does have this little bit of the like the camo printing all throughout here on this semi-off-white kind of grayish plastic here. And honestly, it's not my favorite gray plastic color, but honestly, it's not my favorite, but I don't mind it all that much. I mean, it really is, it doesn't do anything to really bug me. It's just me personally. But like I said, the camo is all throughout the figure, and there is a lot of mechanical detail and panel lines and all kinds of stuff all throughout on this figure, and it does have some nice little decals as well, though I would have liked some more decals kind of sprinkled throughout. But again, I don't know if that's completely accurate, because accuracy to the actual Tomcat is one of the main focuses of this alternate mode here. And overall, I think they did a pretty dang good job. Even right down here to even have Goose and Maverick's names, their call signs, right there on the side. I think that's a nice little attention to detail. Sadly though, one downside of this jet mode that I can say is that he cannot take any blast effects back here. I wish these were 5mm ports right back there.
As if this guy didn't have enough explosions already.
Another feature of the jet, besides the little landing gear right here and the missiles, is you can also adjust the wings just like on the actual jet. It's one of the most iconic things about the Tomcat is its adjustable wings. And honestly, I do like this because it does provide some extra ways to display your jet without it just sitting there. Like, you can actually change up the wings. Even if it's just a minor change, it is a welcome change. And now for comparisons, here is the Top Gun Maverick figure compared next to the only other Tomcat figure that Transformer character I'm aware of, is the Power of the Primes Deluxe Class Black Wing. Which, by the way, the wings aren't black here. Whatever, let's just get on with the comparisons. And overall, I think these both look pretty good. It's just obviously this one is meant to be more cartoony and this one's obviously more realistic. But I did just want to demonstrate how this guy really is kind of a chunky Voyager and this guy really is just a deluxe. And again, it does show you that these figures are still quite really good, even despite them being from two entirely different toy lines. There is still the brand unification from Hasbro present here. And bringing in another realistic jet mode here. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually to scale between these two, but here is the Studio Series Starscream, which is a Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor compared to the Tomcat. And again, overall, I think these scale pretty fine. And then here he is with the last Transformers crossover figure that I took a look at. His Tank Megatron.
Bruh.
Anyway, now that we're done with comparisons, let's now get into the quick and easy transformation on this guy. Gosh, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I freaking transformed this guy and I transformed his arms backwards. And that head sculpt looks very, very nice. I love how they incorporated Maverick's actual helmet into the Autobot's head and like they gave him the visor and the mask. The only thing is, this blue here is the only instance throughout the entire figure. I would have liked some extra bits of this slightly navy blue all over the rest of the figure. But overall, the rest of him does look fine. I mean, it is done out of that off-white, yellowy white plastic that has the camo all over it. So it's like, he's not plain, but he is still a little lacking in some extra detail. Again, some extra decals and such would have been a big help on this guy, especially in the detail department, but at least he does have some nice sculpted in details and such on this guy. It's just the decals would have done a whole lot for him, but at least the overall design looks pretty good. And like I said, I do like the overall design, and thankfully you can complement this figure much further by introducing those missiles from earlier. What you do is you take this little bit and you flip it open, and now he's got a nice pair of shotguns that you can get in. And the shotguns do give him a nice, bit of extra flair to him that we normally could have gotten if he still had his volleyball. But of course, this guy couldn't look half as good without his articulation. He does have a ball joint at the head, which allows for him to swivel from left to right, just about, not all the way around. His wings can lift up and down. Also, just for play features, you can hinge these up so you can have the missiles coming off on his back. Very cool. The shoulders can rotate back like so until the wings get in the way. These shoulder pads can shift. His arm can move out. He does have a very tight bicep swivel. Over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. He does get wrists that hinge up and down, and there is some wrist swivel in there as well. No waist swivel, sadly.
Wasted opportunity here.
He has kind of like an Armada Starscream cockpit kind of going on here. And then his legs can hinge forward, they can hinge back, they can move outward that far. He does get a thigh swivel. He does also get 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And then finally, he does have some very slight ankle pivot, but it's just barely there. The articulation's pretty good. It's just a real shame that the proportions here are just a little too wonky, and so it makes it a weird fit. That's what she said. Back into it for robot mode comparisons. Here he is with the Power of the Primes Deluxe Class Blackwing. That, you know, the one with the Nico cat ears. And then here he is with the Dorito Bayverse Starscream. And then here he is with the Hiss Tank Megatron that I was totally too lazy to transform. So yeah, that is basically it for my review on the Transformers crossover Top Gun figure and, oh, and his motorcycle. Let's not forget that. Very important. It's so cool that they're still able to make Jetformers still so unique, even though they still have the same kind of bare bones blueprint of themselves. Like, they always have the cockpit on the belly or on the chest, and a lot of them always have, like, you know, like the wings on the back. Like, they always seem to have a general, like, design aesthetic, and yet Hasbro still manages to make them unique in their own way. And this guy is no exception to that. I'm a little bit let down by the figure, just a little bit, mostly because I feel like he's lacking in accessories, and because his posability is not as good as I would like it to be. He does have the essentials, but with the lack of waist swivel, and his proportions are a little weird because he's a little bit too lengthy for my opinion. I feel like his torso's too short and he has long limbs, but like, it's just that some additional accessories would have gone a long way. Overall, I think the figure is fine. It's just... his proportions are a little bit off, his coloring is a little weird, and it just seems a little subpar in accessories, especially for the price you pay for this figure. I do love the jet mode. The jet mode is a big standout for me, and I actually kind of have a hard time deciding which mode I actually prefer this guy to be displayed in. It's just the reason is because I think the robot mode is more clever, but I don't think it's engineered better than the jet mode. But the jet mode is engineered better, but I think it's not as cool looking as the robot mode is. Just because, again, the lack of decals and extra detail, which the robot mode has over the vehicle mode. But again, I like both of them pretty equally, because the jet is very nice. And overall, I think that the figure is pretty good. He's just not as good as I was hoping he would with him having such a premium price tag on him. I give this figure a very solid 6 out of 10, bordering on a 7 out of 10. And so yeah, that is basically it for this review. If you liked the video, comment below what you guys think, subscribe to the channel for more Transformers and action figure videos, and I'll catch you guys next time. No volleyball, 0 out of 10.